3,000 miles from a pretty face. Each mile cuts deeper, and my heart grows heavy as I drive away to that lonesome place. I can hear that tear falling.
Welcome
I can't wipe it from your eye.
to String Theory, the live weekly show that's been airing now for 700 years, where we give the answers to your ridiculously well-timed questions. Love you. Glad you're here. And we just want to thank our sponsors real quick, all of our partners. I hate calling sponsors because they don't give us very much, except for good vibes and things. Anyhow, and the music died.
Hey.
This is the day the music died.
The day. Yep.
Boucher Guitars, our ultimate partner. Levy's Leather Straps. It makes our beautiful String Theory embossed guitar straps. G&G Music in Antigonish. You guys are the man. Glenn, incredible. Fantasy Music in Halifax. Spring Garden Road. Stephen McNeil, not the premier. K&K Pickups.
Can't say that anymore.
What?
Stephen McNeil's not the premier anymore.
Well, he's still the premier.
I'm not.
But I mean, he still is. They still call him Mr. Premier. They're going to call him that the rest of his life.
I suppose.
Like, let's not get into this in the middle of the introduction. Fuck.
How's
Recording
your now?
Fuck, you're worse than Coot. Recording King. Alvarez Yeri Guitars. Yamaha Music Canada. All divisions, apparently. They love us. We love them. And James Martin Instruments. James Martin in Ireland. Where's my goddamn guitar? We're waiting for it. We're all excited. We've been excited for months. But anyhow, we love all the people that help us do this. And more and more of them come aboard with us every week. It seems somebody's talking to us and interested in what we're doing. And I also want to say that there's just so many people that contact me every single day on the channel here about, a million different things, and I try to answer as many of them as I can. Some of them I have to pass over because, I don't have to, but I pass them over mostly because I know that if they keep watching the channel, they'll find the answer elsewhere, somewhere in the channel, because we've discussed so many things on this during this little odyssey we've been on. A shout out to Dakota McNamara, who opened the show there. That was his song called The Odyssey, oddly enough. Ironically, the ironing is delightful.
Ironing?
The ironing, yes.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, James Martin Instruments is on with us.
Sweet! You heard me swear at you.
You can yell at them in person.
How you doing? It's good to see you on here. It's awesome. I'm hoping soon. I got time opening up now in April. The weather's better and everything's going good here. We're going to start really plowing the old reviews out on a lot of different things I have to go over here. So we're really excited to see your guitar.
They say it's getting sprayed at the moment.
Sweet. Well, we can't wait to have it, and we can't wait to show people. I've been looking at them on your website, and they just look so good, and there's so many tremendous comments about what you do, so I'm just really excited to have a builder from your part of the world involved on the channel at all. It's amazing that you reached out to us, so thank you for that. Anyhow, I'm glad you're here tonight. This is our time. Every week we spend an hour together and we laugh and we drink coffee or beer or whiskey. I'm on the coffee tonight.
Ooh, we're going to get pictures tomorrow.
We're going to get pictures?
Of the James Martin guitar.
Ooh. Okay. We may or may not share them. I think I want to do another epic reveal as I did with the Gallagher guitar. By the way, there's a very special program that has now been completed that's going to be coming on YouTube here as a premiere event. A real special concert that was sponsored by Gallagher. And I'll leave it at that. It's an hour-long event, and keep your eyes open for it. It's gonna be announced, scheduled. If you're a subscriber, and that reminds me, I should say this every week, and I don't. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do it, because It's free. It does nothing except help us. It helps us. It tells YouTube when you hit subscribe and the like button, it tells them that people are watching us, and that puts more advertisers on the channel, and that pays our bills. And it literally has been paying our bills for the better part of a year, over a year, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without the almost 13,000 people now that are subscribed. When we started out with 4,100, we've tripled it, and I'm so proud of that. But we can do more because we look at the analytics and we see that only 25% of the people that watch our channel actually hit subscribe. So hit subscribe. And if you want to join the private membership and see all the cool, silly things we do that nobody else sees but the private members and want to become a guitar head, hit the join button. And that'll put you for $2 to $7 a month. You can get different levels and different content. And that all goes into the hopper. And of course, if you want to help us out directly, you can send an email transfer to jpcormier38@gmail.com or PayPal, paypal.me/jpcormiermusic, and all of that's in the description below. And again, just a big thanks to all of the companies that are backing us right now. It's just incredible, and really my dream come true. If I could have chosen a direction for my career to go, this would have been it. To be able to sit in my own space here with the lovely Ginger, a place that we built ourselves, made ourselves. This is our room and our space I work in and we work in all the time. And I get to just sit here and talk about music and instruments and play instruments and record and produce records for other people and myself and whatever the hell I want to do here. And we're having a blast. So there you go. There's my report. I'm in a good mood because the weather's so nice, maybe. Or maybe perhaps Ginger spiked my coffee, and I might be able to start to see large, giant pink elephants and laughing mushrooms very shortly. And
What do you think I put in your coffee?
LSD, perhaps?
Yes, 'cause I just keep that around.
LDS?
Yes.
I did too much LDS in the 70s. Who's first? Who's the first one up? The first victim?
Not a victim, this one, because it's not a question.
Oh boy.
It's just a comment it's a super chat comment
Nice. Thank you so much.
from Catfish Creek Chuck.
There you go, Chucky.
So this is for the life of music and string theory. Thank you and cheers from Chuck.
You're quite welcome, and that's another thing. Don't forget super chats if you don't know about them. There's a $sign right where you put you type in your comments. You can send us $1 or $2 or $1 million you want. I don't care if you got it, if you can spare it, and your comment goes right to the top, and we answer it first during the evening. So that's how that works. I know some people were asking. So who's next?
Eli Patrick Bluegrass.
Eli Patrick Bluegrass.
Hey JP, would you mind elaborating upon Emmett Sullivan's style of banjo playing?
Oh God.
Need a banjo? Do you have one?
It's difficult to describe Emmett. There's a few things that I could say that you understand if you're a banjo player, and even if you're not. He played with a tremendous amount of forward drive, which means when I say that, I mean he played in front of the beat. He didn't speed the song up. He just played in front of it all the time, and it really created this massive musical tension, which translated into the audience's hair standing up on end. I've seen Emmett play the banjo, and people freak, like start crying or like hollering and freaking out. They don't know what to do with him. So you can see them reacting. You could see them reacting to him. The other thing he did was he had a very unique catalog of signature licks he did all the time that were, I've just never heard another banjo player do them. And I copied them, all my life. copied some of those licks, and I'd have to sit, if it was today and I sat down with the banjo, I'd have to sit down for half an hour and warm up, because what he did wasn't easy, and it wasn't highly technical. It was the delivery of it, and I just, there's no way to describe it. You have to go listen to him. You have to go, if you're lucky enough to be able even to find Emmett anywhere on YouTube or some kind of archive, or if you have, because the records they made are so rare that we're talking about a band, like they were immensely popular in the 60s in the deep south of the United States. They were not, and they were a bluegrass gospel band, so that made the niche market even smaller. So, but they sold hundreds of thousands of records, and in their career, and most of them are down below the Mason-Dixon line. Now, some of them are in Europe. They toured in Europe. They played in Holland. They played in Germany. They just did a lot of stuff. Like, they were a very active, respected band, and Emmett was the driving force in that group. I mean, Enoch ran the band in front of the show and played the fiddle, but Emmett was the guy that everybody just waited for Emmett to do whatever he was going to do. It was like waiting for a train wreck, but it wouldn't be a train wreck. It would be the most brilliant thing you'd seen ever on stage, right? Like, it was just, and he was full of the devil. He'd just laugh and look at the audience and make these weird eyes at the audience and bug his eyes out and holler at them, yell at them, in the middle of a solo, and just an immense player. Holy God, he was good. And yeah, so I do know that there are some videos, there's a video even from the 60s of Emmett on their television show. They had a weekly TV show in the 60s, and it was very popular, a syndicated show in the South, and there is footage of that online on YouTube, here on YouTube. So here's to Emmett, wherever he may be, wherever you're at, Em. Don't know where you are, but I bet wherever you are, they're scared to death of you. Oh, shit. I remember one time, one of Emmett's granddaughters, that reminds me, came in the house one day and was crying, and she called him Papa, Peepaw, or Papa. Papa, so-and-so told me the devil's going to get me. And Emmett picked the girl up off the floor and put her on his lap and said, "Devil ain't going to get you, girl. Your granddaddy killed him." I love that, man. And she believed him. "What, you killed the devil?" "Oh, yes, sir. Beat him to death." Oh, great. And this little girl was just fine then. She thought her grandfather killed the devil, right? Oh, my God. What a man he was. Just a great man. Next. Down memory lane there, boys. Something to tell you.
We got a super chat from Cajun Queen.
Cajun Queen, thank you.
Just curious, have you had many guitars refretted over the years? Or maybe you haven't held on to them long enough before that's needed?
I have never had a guitar refretted. I have owned them long enough to be refretted, but I dread it because it often changes the playability and even the sound of the guitar. So I'll leave. I mean, I can get 15, 20 years out of a set of frets if I have to. I don't want to. Sometimes they wear out, like if it's not good quality wire, you have to get them refretted, but I can usually get 10 years out of a set of frets. Mainly because I play so much all over the fretboard that I don't wear out like the first 5 a lot. And I have it looks like I'm squeezing really hard, but I don't squeeze at all. So I'm not hard on frets. The guys that wear out frets are the guys that squeeze the shit out of the neck and just just grinding those strings against the frets, just making regular chords below the 5th fret, right? And most everybody kind of does that, really. But the more you play, especially if you're going to play intricate things, you don't want to squeeze the neck. You don't want to be putting all the pressure on this hand. So it looks like I'm not doing anything. I'm just my guitars are set up to just touch them and they go, right? And so that's why frets last me so long. I can get 10, 15 years out of a set of frets. So, and honestly, most of my guitars don't last in the stable that long, because if they do, it means they're great guitars, but I always end up taking them off the road after a decade or so. Like I did that with one of my Martins, and I've done that with different guitars. I wanted to give them a rest. They put their time in. I have other guitars, and I'm attached to all of them equally. So it's not like I get so attached to one guitar. Except I will say that there has been one guitar in the past 5 years that I did get that attachment to, and that was Yogi, which is my 000 12 fret Boucher that spawned the design of my signature model. Now that little guitar, I just couldn't stop playing it. I took it on the road for the better part of 2 years. I kept going back to it, even though I was losing 2 frets and not able to play, the super high stuff up here that I do all the time. I would sacrifice certain songs and instrumentals because I didn't have those 2 frets just to play that guitar. It's one of the greatest guitars I've ever owned. And yeah, so that it has happened. I have become so attached to one that I could wear it out if I didn't watch out what I was doing, but I didn't do that to her. She rests, she gets her rest, and then she comes back out every once in a while and does her thing. And I try to cycle through all of these guitars, to make sure that they don't go south. Because if you don't play a guitar, they die, and can split and crack, and all kinds of bad things can happen to them just from sitting. And so I don't like that to happen. So I try to cycle through them all the time, play them equally as I can. Another reason why I don't go through frets. Okay, next.
Let's see. We have a super chat from Side Dad.
Side Dad?
Side.
Oh, Side Dad. Yeah, right. I remember this guy.
He says, trying to decide between a 1970 Martin D35 12 string, 12 fret to board, I think.
Yeah.
With fresh net reset, and a new Yamaha LL1612. Unable to play either. What are your thoughts?
I'd go for the Martin. That's a wicked guitar. If it's well set up, a 1970 D35 of any type is a beautiful guitar. If it's in good shape and it's set up right, it's going to sound incredible. The Yamahas are fine, but that Martin's a vintage instrument, and it's 50 years old. It's 51 years old. So, like I said, if it's in good shape, really good shape, and when I say that, I mean, because it has no truss rod in it. And that guitar, for certain, you'll never be able to tune it to standard. You'll have to tune it 1 fret flat if you want to preserve the body and the neck of that guitar, because they're not designed for... The old 12s are not designed to tune to standard. They're supposed to be tuned to A flat. Some people even tune them 2 frets low, which Leadbelly did, and to keep the tension off the neck, because there's no truss rod. So if it's in great shape and the action is really good right now, and you don't tune it up to standard, right? We all do that. It's not something... I'm not telling you to do that, and that's a detriment. That my Boucher, I don't tune to standard. I tune it to A flat, and when I want to play A, I put a capo on the 1st fret, which even makes the action even nicer, right? So make sure the action is dead on what you want, and it plays easy. And if that's the case, that's the guitar. And if you can't get that, then Yamaha is your best bet after that, because you can't really go wrong with them. They're L-series guitars, especially the 16s. The necks are narrow, but they sound incredible, and they're very easy to play, and they have a good truss system in them. So if the action's not good, you just crank that truss back a bit and lower the string down, and there your Bob's your uncle. So if you get the Martin, let me know. I'd like to see that guitar. Jesus, that'd be a monstrous guitar. I think 30. I'm just a fan of 35s too. I love them, and a 35 12 string is a rare beast. So here's to Martin. All right, next.
We have a super chat joke from Ian Russiter.
Okay, go
Yes.
Ian.
Did you know Bruce Lee had a sister who never married?
No.
Her name was Ugg.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Grown.
Did you know Bruce Lee had a half brother that was a vegetarian? His name was Brocco.
Oh dear.
Gotcha.
Oh dear.
Next.
Caper away.
Caper away.
What are your thoughts on Richlight fingerboards?
They're garbage.
What?
I don't know why anybody would use them. They're horrible. They're not a real wood. They're just garbage. And people like you just can't. You can't make. You might as well just make a fucking fretboard out of plastic, cheap plastic. That's the same difference. And people don't. I don't know why people don't realize this. Guitar makers, these companies know this. The fingerboard of guitar has a ton to do with the sound of the instrument, right? Because a fingerboard like this piece here is actually, I'm going to shit the bed here and not even be able to remember what this wood is, but it's gorgeous. It's either, I'm not even going to guess. I can't remember, but it's an exotic hardwood, right? And the fingerboard goes over the top of the guitar, tightly, very tightly. So when you play a note and your finger's holding the string against the board, it's vibrating this whole surface and vibrating this area of the top. So if this is plastic, what possible transmission is that going to be? Because that's basically what Richlight is. It's like plastic. It's like plastic wood. It's a man-made crap substance that big guitar companies started using because of the moratoriums on rosewood and ebony and CITES laws, right? CITES, so which is the body that governs what exotic woods can be sold and transported between countries, and because they're endangered. So that's all it is. It's a really horrible replacement for wood, and I just can't get along with it. I don't think it should be done. If you can't get the wood to build a guitar that important a piece of the guitar, don't build a guitar. Wait till you can get some wood. That's how. I'm not going to be nice and just be myself.
How you really feel?
Sorry. A Richlight in my ass. All right. Next.
Darren Murray.
Darren Murray. Is that a new fella?
I don't think so.
Okay. Love you.
I have a 12 string that I went to play a note of the bridge split. The bridge split.
Okay.
Can I just glue it temporarily, or does it have to be replaced sooner than later?
Jesus. I don't know. It depends on what's going on. If the split is bad enough that the pins are falling out, that it can't hold the strings in, you need a new bridge. That's it. Short answer. If you're playing it and you're stringing it and the pins aren't coming right out in your hand or falling out, and it still holds tune for a long time, days, right? You don't need to replace it. Yet, and when it starts to not be able to hold the pins in, because you're not going to hurt the guitar. That piece is independent, so it's just the bridge that's split. It's not the bridge plate underneath or the top, because the top can't split that way. The grain of the bridge goes this way. Everything else is going that way. So if this splits, it doesn't hurt the guitar. And so if it's still working, don't replace it. And if it stops working, get a new one. But it's a big job. And unfortunately, it often changes the sound of the instrument detrimentally. Just because they have to heat up the top to get it off of there. And if they don't do it the right way, if you don't have a rank god professional like doing it, they could destroy the top of the guitar. Because they could end up peeling finish off the top, which can't be put back, and all kinds. It's a nightmare job. It's one of the most nightmare jobs ever. You ask any luthier, any guitar tech what they hate the worst. It's two things: replacing a bridge and a neck reset. Those are two things that no one wants to do. Nobody. But they do it because it's fucking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Sometimes $1,000 to get a neck reset, and you're probably looking at $400 or $500 to get a bridge replaced. So you might consider just buying another guitar if you have to replace it. If it's an expensive guitar, then go get it fixed. It'll be worth the money. But if it's not a high end instrument, I would just consider going to get another instrument, put another $200 or $300 with that $500 and go buy an L16 or buy whatever you like. So I don't know. I wish you luck, because it is a problem, especially over the winter for 12 strings. It happens. It happens to 6 strings, but you got to make sure you're in the winter time. You got to make sure your guitars are at least 46 to 52% humidity all the time. That's the magic number. If you can keep it around there, that's still pretty dry, but it's wet enough that they won't crack. Nothing will split if you keep it. We keep this room here somewhere between 45 and 53 all the time, with a little humidifier that runs automatically. And these guitars in here are just as healthy as pigs and shit. So you just got to make sure and if, in my opinion, I would not use in-sound hole, in-the-case humidifiers. They're very, very dangerous. I've talked about this before. The reason they're dangerous is they can easily overhydrate the guitar. Then you've got another problem altogether. The top swells and pushes the bridge off. So you don't want that either. The best thing in the world is to get an external humidifier, like a little one like we got here, a Lavoit that we bought from Amazon. How much did that cost, Ginger? Wasn't expensive, $100.
What, the humidifier?
Yeah.
Yeah, must have been around there.
Around $100. It's a cute little thing. It's the size of a toaster. You just put it on the table, and when your guitar, you can tell a guitar is dry by looking across the top, and if you can see the lines of the grain in the top, or feel them, then you know it's too dry, right? This guitar is perfection. It's not dry at all. It's been hanging out in the stand here. It's a brand new guitar, mind you, but still, it's very well maintained in here. And if it gets dry, put it in a stand right by the humidifier for a day. And the guitar is smart. It'll drink as much as it needs, and then it'll stop because it has somewhere to reject the moisture to. Inside a case, it doesn't. It's trapped in there with all that moisture, and you can destroy a guitar that way. So, hope that helps. That was a long, drawn-out answer for fucking whatever. I'm an arsehole. Okay, go ahead.
Joe is next.
Brother Joe.
I never know if his questions are serious or not.
They're probably not.
His question is, have you played the dulcimer?
How do I play the dulcimer?
No, have you?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's played the dulcimer.
I don't think I have.
You haven't?
I don't think
Pretty
so.
simple. It only has 3 strings and 8 frets. That's it.
Still making a terrible mess of it.
Hold it in your lap, and one string is for melody, and that's it. Just strum all 3 of them and play the melody on one string with one finger.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun.
That's fine.
Yeah. I like it.
See.
Pretty sounding thing. Next.
I got Jeffrey Cohen.
Jeffrey Cohen. Good to have you back.
Do you have any thoughts regarding the Eastman 815V mandolin? Also, will the instrument sound better if I remove the pickguard?
So this one here is the 615. I am so blind.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a 615. So I'm a huge fan of Eastman mandolins. I love this mandolin. This is the model 2 steps below yours, actually. Killer mandolin. You'll notice I left my pickguard on, but that's because it's this tiny artisan wooden pickguard. And you'll notice it doesn't get in front of this F-hole. If you have a mandolin that has one of those horrible Gibson with the brass fittings and the screws, and it comes down and covers half of the F-hole here, get rid of it. Because it's taken away a quarter of your sound. If you remove it, you'll play better too. It's in the way really. It is in the way for proper technique. So yes, get rid of it. And unless you get one like that, those are beautiful. And my A-style Eastman, the 6, I don't know what that one is, a 13 or something. It's the A-style version of that mandolin, exactly the same. Also has that same wooden artisan pickguard, and I left that on there too, obviously, because they're really nice, and they don't get in the way of that bottom F-hole. And if you have a big honking piece of plastic in front of it, you're losing tone and volume for sure, absolutely. The other thing is, I don't know what your 815 is like. It's probably kick-ass. I love Eastman, but I'm telling you, they can be hit and miss because they are a factory-made instrument, and it's a small factory. It's still a shop setting, but I have seen some of their higher-end mandolins that didn't sound as good as that one. But if you got a good one, which is easy to do, I think that probably 70 or 80% of them are kick-ass. If you got a good one, don't part with it, because they are. I've been playing Eastman for 10 years, and I love them. And everybody that plays that mandolin, all the mandolin players that pick that thing up, they're just like, holy shit, this thing plays so easy and it's so loud. And yeah, so yeah, take your pickguard off. If it's a hunk of plastic shit, take it off. And if you got a good one, boys, you got a good one, because Eastman knows how to do it. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, next.
We have a super chat from Larry Randress, but I can't find a question.
Larry Randress.
It's just a super chat.
Thank you, Larry. Mr. Rindress. The man with the most interesting last name in the world. Mr. Rindress.
Can't decide how it's actually pronounced.
It's Rindress.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he told me.
Okay.
He told me to tell you to piss off and stop calling him Rindress. I didn't
In my head, that's how it is.
I didn't
now.
give you the message because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but he said he hates you.
Well, I just won't read his questions anymore. Solve that problem.
Mr. Rindress. What do you think of that? Rindress. It is.
Okay. We have another super chat from Casp Forever.
What?
Casp Forever.
Casp Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay, Governor.
Is it important for a fingerpicker to use a thumb pick?
Pretty well, yeah. You don't have to. A lot of great fingerstylists play with a thumb nail, like Tony McManus, or if you're playing classical, they don't use picks, or you're playing flamenco, they don't use picks. There's many others, I'm sure, that I'm not thinking of. But if you're playing Chet or Jerry or Lenny Bro or Tommy Emmanuel, they all use thumb picks. So you have to have one. If you want that style, you can't get it without a thumb pick. It's part of tone, delivery, speed, technique, all the stuff that makes up fingerstyle is derived almost entirely from that friggin' pick. So yeah, you gotta have a pick if you're doing that style. Yeah. So there you go. Hope that helped. Go to mastermusicmethod.com. There's a fingerstyle. There's all kinds of fingerstyle lessons on there.
We have another super chat from Dad.
Dad.
They follow up to his previous question.
Okay.
So now choose between 1970 Martin D35 12 string or continue saving for a Boucher HD 66.
Oh yeah. The Boucher all the way. Yeah. Listen, Robin Boucher makes the best guitars in the world. Fight me. That's just the way it is. Sorry to tell you, that just is. He makes the best guitars in the world. In my opinion, he might not always hold that title. Whatever, I don't know. But for right now, I think he builds the best guitars in the world. So, there you go. You can't beat it. You just can't beat him. Cannot beat him. And as far as I'm concerned, from what I'm seeing, his prices are so friggin' reasonable compared to other boutique builders and compared to larger companies. I mean, to get a Martin or Gibson or Taylor that would look, sound, and play like a Boucher, you'd have to spend twice as much money easily.
And you can personalize the Bouchers too.
Yes, you can customize a Boucher many different ways. If you call there and talk to Guillaume or Robin or Julian, they can they'll build your dream guitar. And it doesn't mean it's going to cost extra. You don't have to put, the fancy things on it. Get a plain Jane thing with, one thing that you like on it, right? They're just incredibly versatile. They can do anything you want them to do, and you cannot go wrong. There's just no way to go wrong buying a Boucher. I don't care what you're doing. So if you're prepared to save money for it, instead of buying the Martin, for God's sake, buy the Boucher. It's going to be the best bet, and it's a brand new instrument. It's going to sound incredible and look incredible and last you till the day you die. Your grandchildren will be playing it. It'll last as long as that Martin did, easily, or more. So, yeah, there you go. Next.
Keep it away.
Caper away.
He says he bought an Eastman MD305 A-style mandolin, and it doesn't have a pickguard. Do I need one?
No, you don't. Pickguards suck on mandolins. They're not. The pickguard is a throwback to when mandolins were used in orchestras at the turn of the 19th century. That's where they come from, because they were used differently back then, and they just were played tremolo all the time, and so the pickguard was necessary to keep them chewing a hole in the top. The first thing that Monroe did when he bought his 1923 Lloyd Loar Gibson mandolin was tore the pickguard off it, because it cuts the sound away, and it's in the way of the space you need to play bluegrass, right? So, yeah, you don't need one. And I believe that's your model, Ginger. That's the model of Eastman you have is a 305, I'm pretty sure. And they're great mandolins. That's actually my old mandolin. I gave it to Ginger. And I toured and recorded with that mandolin. It was only a $500 mandolin, or $400. It was ridiculous how cheap that thing was. And it sounds wicked mandolin. Just so good. So good. Yeah. Next.
Another question from Joe.
Alrighty.
Who wrote Bring a Little Water, Sylvie?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was either Lead Belly or Blind Lemon Jefferson. I don't know. But he's only asking because he knows the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Gillette Wilkinson.
Gillette Wilkinson. That's a razor company.
The two razor company. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
He's from Serbia.
Serbia.
He's been here before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Any advice for playing with finger picks?
Well, it depends on what instrument you're playing. If you're playing a guitar, don't use finger picks. Use your flesh and half nail, not long nails, just nail behind flesh, and a thumb pick. Right. If you're playing a banjo, you have to use a thumb pick and 2 metal picks, and that's about all I can tell you. Unless I, like I said, if you're interested in learning stuff like that, mastermusicmethod.com is our online school. It's only at $15 US a month, and there's dozens of lectures on there from beginner right to whatever, dealing with those questions. So, yeah, if you're a guitar player, you shouldn't use finger picks. You'll never get good tone or speed with them. But you need a thumb pick if you're playing, Chet or any of those kind of things, like I said earlier. And of course, banjo, gotta have metal picks for these fingers and a thumb pick. So there you go. Now, it has been done. Don't get me wrong. Red Shea played with metal picks on his fingers. A lot of people have. Red Shea had tremendous tone, and he knew how to get tone from him, but other people I hear do it, they sound metallic, and I hate that sound, because it just makes the guitar sound like metal, and Red could make it not sound that way. But it's hard to do. So a little bit of nail, a little bit of flesh, you'll get a callus, you'll get more tone. There you go. Thanks for watching us all the way over in Serbia. Good Lord. Okay, next.
We got Helgi Brandal.
Helgi Brandal. Sounds like a cowboy boot company. What are you wearing tonight, JP? I'm all my Helgi Brandals.
I might even be pronouncing it wrong.
Oh.
How many guitars with stainless steel frets?
What's that?
Stainless steel frets.
What about them?
Do you have any guitars?
I'm
or
sure
are there any guitars that
I'm
have?
sure I do. I don't think that they're very popular because they're too hard. Nickel is what's usually used, and stainless steels. I probably have one in here, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a very rare thing, and it's not. They're part of the sound of the instrument. So you can imagine something that's hard as stainless steel, bouncing your strings off of that, whereas nickel is softer and projects more vibration. Stainless is not going to project anything. It's going to reject everything, right? So that's why most guitar players, I don't think, like stainless steel frets. I know they're used, but I don't know if I don't think I well, let me put it this way. I wouldn't ask for them if I was getting refret. I would just get standard, nickel strings. I might choose wide frets as opposed to standard normal narrow frets. I like low profile wide frets. Those are kind of cool. But again, I don't do fret. I just don't have anything I've had to refret. So it's I really haven't got a lot of experience with that. Only on mandolins, I think. I've had a couple of mandolins that had extra wide frets, which I really liked. So, okay, next.
We have KFM 908.
Sounds like a radio station.
It does. Does anyone make a 12-fret cutaway guitar?
Yes, Boucher. Mm-hmm. The JP Cormier signature model is a 12-fret cutaway triple O guitar. So go to boucherguitars.com or .ca. Just Google Boucher guitars. You'll find the website, and they do make them. So there you go. Other companies do as well, but Boucher makes the best one. Okay, next.
We have Michael Mercier.
Michael Mercier, back again.
What are your thoughts on Breedlove guitars?
I love Breedlove guitars. The album that me and Tim Eady made called Once, that's a Breedlove. And a Korean version of the Breedlove. It was $1,100 US. And I regret selling that guitar every day. I don't know why I did it, but I sold it to somebody in Sydney. It was probably hard times in the winter or whatever, and I sold it. And I shouldn't have. It was one of the most brilliant guitars, and I don't know much about them now. I've picked them up in stores, here and there over the past couple years. Excuse me. I got yawnitis, and I wasn't as impressed with them today as I was some of the ones that they were putting out 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And also, like, if you buy an American breed love that's made in North America, oh my God, you're going to pay a fortune. But by God, they make tremendous guitars. It's just unbelievable. Could you do me a favor, Ginger?
Probably.
I just looked over there and just about had a heart attack. Could you take that fiddle and put it on the credenza? I don't know who did that, but I might have to kill them. It might have been me. Thank you. Oh my God. Yeah, I just about had a stroke there.
Fall,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They seem pretty stable.
Yeah. Yeah. Breed love, all the way. Love breed love. I don't have one right now. I'd like to have one. I'd like to have a nice one though. I'd like to have one that they think is really, really nice, right? I mean, they do have most of the breed loves that you see in stores right now are the Asian variant. But as I said, they still build them by hand here as well, which, yeah, beautiful guitars. I love them. Here's the breed love. Okay, next.
T-Bone.
T-Bone.
Mm-hmm. One of our members.
Yes.
Just restrung up a McPherson all carbon fiber guitar today. Any comments on McPherson other than they're expensive as hell?
You poor bastard, you. God. Don't even get me started. I don't even answer that question. Yeah. There's no point. I've probably talked about this before. I think somebody else asked me about McPherson, but I've known several people that own McPhersons, and they're quite potentially the worst guitars that I've ever seen in that price range. Like, it's absolutely fucking out of control. They're like $8,000-9,000 for nothing. They just I don't know what people are. I do know what. See, that's what frustrates me about companies like that. Do they make works of art? Yes. There's no question that they're beautiful and that they're different, but they're not. I've never played one that I said, man, I'm not going to ever play a traditional acoustic again after this. Yeah. And I remember going to the 12th fret one time with a close buddy of mine. He's probably on here tonight. And I picked one out for him. He was determined to buy a McPherson. And I said, okay, well, we went to the 12th fret, and they're like, McPhersons are so expensive that the 12th fret didn't even have them on the floor. They were in a private room upstairs. And they started and this is a long time ago. This is 15 years ago. They started 15 years ago at $6,600. And there was a couple of them in the room that were over $10,000. And I was just I had to go through all these guitars and try to pick out the best guitar for my buddy, who was a Martin fanatic. He had a Martin, a D28, and he had a handmade guitar built by Tom Dorwood in Halifax. Both excellent, beautiful sounding guitars. And I picked this guitar out, and I felt half guilty. He was determined to buy it. And I said, this is the best one I can find, but I don't know, I hope they'll give you a deal on it, right? But they didn't, and he paid for it. And he took it home with him, and after 8 months, he said, Jesus, I can't, this is not a good guitar, And it's unfortunate, and the way that I think McPherson came into being was pretty simple. Like it they come out of the Nashville scene, and a lot of very famous players started playing them because they were given them. Right? They blanketed the top 40 country charts with their guitars, and so when you seen whoever playing a McPherson, everybody wanted one. And it was very smart marketing. But I'm telling you, man, I just never played one that I liked, and it's unfortunate because, like I said, they are works of art. There's nothing wrong with their construction, in my opinion, or the way they play, or any of those things. They're just not a guitar to me. They're a tool to be used on stage, the same as a Takamine or an Ovation, or like the guitars that are designed to be plugged in to look really cool and sort of sound like a guitar on stage. That's what they are. They're a working man's guitar, but they're the Cadillac of the working man's guitar, right? And so why the hell would you pay that kind of money for something that's not really designed to be an acoustic instrument? Like, it's just so frustrating. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe there's a McPherson somewhere that would just tear off my head. I've never seen one, and I've seen dozens of them. So, McPherson, bring it on. Show me your best. Next.
Tony V.
Tony V.
How do you like the Recording King RD18? I got one from my dad last year.
Oh, yes, the RD18. I haven't seen one yet. I'm actually still waiting for one. The reports are that they're awesome, and that's all I've heard. I mean, they're a factory-made Chinese instrument that's under $1,000, and the Recording Kings that I've got here, I love, and there's not one of them over $700, and I just love them. They're just fun to play. They sound great. They look cool and old. And I don't know. So I haven't seen one. I'm sure, Ashley, if you're watching this, or get a chance, if you ever do watch us, I would like to have one. I'd like to review it. Yeah. So far I've heard nothing bad about them. The was it the 318?
Which one?
The one that was bad that came?
Oh.
That was a 318.
Mm-hmm.
RD, that was another one. That was a different model. But this one that you're talking about, I believe, is the D18 copy with a torrified Adirondack top. Full size,
Wasn't
The one that came
wasn't it torrified too?
Yes, but it was a small body. It was a double O size or OM size, whatever. But yes, I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm just waiting to see. Maybe they'll send me one if they're short on stock too. Recording King, well, everybody is, but Recording King's incredibly short on stock. So probably because of us. We helped, I think. Next.
Another question from Larry Reindress.
Larry Reindress.
I got it this time.
Got it that time.
What do you have more of? Guitars, rings, or t-shirts?
Oh, t-shirts.
It's almost a tie between t-shirts and rings.
Probably.
But probably t-shirts.
Yes.
Not a lot of rings.
I have a lot of t-shirts.
Don't forget hats and boots.
It's a sign of a true slob. Man with 1,000 t-shirts.
Maybe does laundry.
Yes.
Just burns the old t-shirts.
That's right.
You're good in case of a power outage for like 3 months.
I gotta think of a question. I'm so excited to get to do this tonight. I forgot all about that. Yeah.
See.
And I should mention, we have a new cycle starting for a grand prize. I haven't got it together yet, but I'm going to see Steve McNeil at Fantasy Music this week at some point, I hope, or next week, and we're going to set up a new grand prize from him. Tonight we'll have our normal draw for our great prizes that the two shops give us, and I'm going to make a goof question. Just
doing
off the
now?
top, yes, just off the top of my head. Did we have any super more chats? Do you have any super chats? Any more super chats we need to answer?
No.
Okay, here's the goof question. This is funny because I just looked across the room and thought, bah, there's a question. Who was the company that built Paul McCartney's bass?
Uh-oh.
What kind of bass did Paul McCartney play in the Beatles?
We got it.
Yep.
So we got Caleb Hawkins says Hoffner.
Yep. Caleb Hawkins. Just give me a second.
Did he win this year?
I don't think so. Caleb, you are the G&G prize winner. So you will get the String Theory Levy's leather strap, a set of strings winder, and there'll be, I'm not sure what the coupon will be this week, but Glenn always has a coupon deal for purchasing something in the shop. So send me an email right now to jpcormier38 at gmail.com, jpcormier38 at gmail.com, and you have won the G&G prize. And who's our second winner?
Did Eli Patrick Bluegrass win yet?
I don't think so either. No, I don't believe so. I think that's safe.
Okay.
Eli Patrick. Okay, Eli, you have won the fantasy package, which is a very cool package, which is the Yamaha Red Label t-shirt, set of electric strings of your choice, and tax-free purchase in the store, in store only. And or you can contact. He'll be in touch with you. So send me an email to jpcormier38 at gmail.com, Eli, and you will be forwarded on to Fantasy. And there's our draw.
Oh, he says he can't win.
You can't win? Why?
He must have won already.
Okay, then
Okay, wait.
give me somebody else to get the fantasy package.
Jeffrey Cohen
Jeffrey Cohen.
is next.
Okay, you are the fantasy winner. Jeffrey,
Okay.
send me an email, jpcormier38 at gmail.com. We'll forward you on to fantasy. Thanks, Eli, for being so honest. That's why we love our folks on here. That's awesome. Thank you. And Jeffrey Cohen and Caleb Hawkins are winners this week. You guys will be in the grand prize draw, which is going to be announced probably next week.
Hopefully.
And we'll do 6 or 7 weeks of it, get 12 or 14 of you in there, and we got a couple more minutes, so we can answer a couple more questions if you want.
Okay.
That took a little less time than I thought.
Well, let's see.
I was looking at the clock, it was like 5 minutes. That went over in about 90 seconds.
Okay. We got one from Peter Callahan.
Peter Callahan, yes, sir.
What gauge flat pick do you use?
My favorite pick right now is a Blue Chip 50, I think it is. And I also ordered a bunch of these little fellows here, which I really love. It's these DeAndrea Proplex, and these are 1.5 millimeter.
Let's put that anywhere.
Yeah, let's see if I can pick it up. These guys. These are really nice picks, and I like them in their other iteration too, which is large triangle, which is like the Blue Chip. But I use heavy picks. This is a very heavy pick, get no flex in it at all, and it's super smooth. Sounds sort of like tortoise when you use it. And yeah, one more.
Okay. Tom Matthews.
Tom Matthews.
What do you think about Huss and Dalton guitars?
I love them. They're amazing guitars. I wish I had one, but I'll never afford one. So, yeah, they're incredible. I've met the guys. I met them at NAMM last January 2020 in Los Angeles, and they're just friggin' brilliant. You can't go wrong. It's another shop like Robbins. You know, you just can't go wrong with those kind of builders. Like they know exactly what they're doing, and they are really, really good guitars. And if you get a case of brand loyalty to guys like that, I don't blame you. I'm a fan of theirs as well as all of these other builders. They're just great. So yeah, so there you go. There's the show for this week. We're getting ready for the big rainstorm. 4 days of rain, 125 millimeters of rain. But we will not wash away before next Wednesday.
We'll try not to.
Yes. So all I can tell you is I hope you never find your perfect guitar, because then you'd have to stop looking. Start looking?
Start.
You'd have to start stopping to stop, stopping, start looking more. Good night.